Dennis Jenkins Company. Okay, I made a few little notes. Been in the telecommunication business, I don't know, 30 plus years. What Sherry was alluding to is that it was a guy in high school that I met, and we used to compete in electronics class. And basically, after the test, we'd walk over and say, "Did you miss one?" And so that's kind of the bonding that we started with. Then we started, he got a new car, good job, making plenty of money. So we started partying in Woodland Hills, and I became a designated driver at the ripe old age of, I don't know, 17. Yeah, getting started with all that. Well, the reason I brought that into the game is because he went and played Navy and messed around, and I played Army and messed around. After all that nonsense was done, we reconnected, and he says, you know, you really got to look at this telecommunication stuff. He says, the money's great. He says, it's simple work compared to real electronics. It's easy. And I said, okay, so fast forward a little bit. I went to work for him. Not bad, pretty good. A year or two later, he and his multi-ego partners were gone, you know. So I said, okay, I worked at this a little bit, and finally I decided, okay, it's time. I opened my doors in 1983. At that point, I was working mostly with Mitel. Mitel was big hospitality, big in hospitality. And that was good. Oh wait, and then there was some poor pilots that flew into buildings. Yeah, well, that didn't do so well for the economy of hospitality. In the interim, however, I was looking at Panasonic saying, well, I need a smaller system, something in this, say, 6 to 20 phone kind of size for small businesses, because in hospitality you might have, you know, 40 rooms, 50 rooms, 140 rooms, 150 rooms, it didn't matter. Okay, PBX could handle it. So I need that offset a little bit, and that's how I got involved in Panasonic. Panasonic then kind of grew up and said, oh, you want 50 phones, you want 100 phones, 500 phones, it doesn't matter. Okay? They can pretty much handle anything. In the meantime, good old Mitel over here, he's having a great time saying, if you don't sell this stuff, I'm going to take away your discount. And I thought, let's see, let me do a little math in here. Let's see, I'm selling nothing. If I lose my discount, oh, I don't think it matters too much. You can take it. Okay. Bye. So yeah, okay, see ya. Got a call the other day from somebody that called about an Intertel product, which is now owned by Mitel because of some lawsuit stuff. And I just told them I don't work with this stuff anymore. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't want to mess with them anymore. I just want to stay right on the Panasonic trail. I do the certification there. I know the products well. I've got spares. Last Saturday on the 17th hole, I get a call from a guy, and he says, this thing looks like it's dead. And I said, well, it's plugged in, right? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay. Conveniently, I had a power supply in the car. So I said, I'll be there in about an hour. And so I finished up the 17th. That was pitiful. 18th, that was worse. Okay. Got in the car. drove to Irvine, you know, and Santa Ana, I guess, Dyer in the 55. Okay. Bolted in, back on the air, good to go. So, that fast, easy enough. Good to have spares. If you have spares, you're a good service provider. And if you're not doing that, yeah, you're just kind of selling the stuff, and good luck to the customer on the back end. So that's kind of how I got involved in all of that stuff. From that, we've evolved into the situation of using SIP trucks, and we're talking now from, I've mentioned a few times, you know, we've got clients on the West Coast, you dial 4 digits, and you're talking to an extension on the East Coast, okay? Or in the instance of Sean, if he wants to call Kentucky, he dials 3 digits, boom, he's done, okay? Santa Ana, they've got 2 stores in Lake Forest, and Vista, 3 digits, right there. In fact, their lines, when they come into Santa Ana, if it's a 760 number, it rings in the Vista store first, and if they don't pick it up, it rings at the other 2, so I've got good coverage. Okay? Same for Lake Forest and the 949, and 714 in the Santa Ana. So now we have complete coverage, 3 stores, 1 system taking care of all of that. Okay? And that way, they're not missing their calls. There's somebody in one of those stores that can answer the call. It's pretty creative stuff. Picked up a client over in, somewhere over there, and they have 5 companies, all in one, under one PBX. So we're pretty much not limited as to what we can do, who we can serve. The call one day, the guy says, "Can you put a system in my house? I've got a lot of phones. I got about 17." I says, "Well, I've done 25 in a house. Will that work?" And he said, "Yeah." Turns out the guy owns all of the spearmint rhinos. Now everybody here knows what that is, right? No. Disclaimer. Okay. So yeah, it's, or Don and I were riding one day, and I said, "Yeah, I picked up this client, Fagel." And Fagel is, as Don says, what? The best malpractice, medical malpractice. Well, it turns out he's not an attorney, he's a doctor. So who does he sue? Other doctors and hospitals. Why? Because he knows that business. So work where you can be strong. Okay. So it doesn't really matter too much about what kind of a phone problem you might have. You might have an interest in something like that. I can probably find a solution for you. Yesterday I got a call from an attorney that says, "The speakerphone, when we make a conference call with this people that take all the deposition stuff, sometimes it doesn't work well." "Oh, you're using their conference bridge?" "Well, that's probably where the problem is. You tried working around it?" "Yeah, it works great when we do that." I said, "I should do that more often." And so there's really not that difficult to fix things, okay? It's not that difficult to create new kinds of support, ways to make things work better, okay? Yes, we even connect offices with Scott and all of his favorite friends 2 blocks away. Yeah, he'll tell you that story later. So that's kind of a little overview in about 4 minutes, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay, so let me open that up to questions really quick. Any questions about kind of things what I do? Yes, Gene?
Yes. How is your company different than just calling AT&T or any of the Verizon?
Because I work there for one.
Oh, well.
I hate AT&T for another. Okay. Oh, I'm fine. Was that on film somewhere? Okay. No.
When we were trying to give you a lead or something, I guess I need an understanding of how do you wire up a system, or is it all just...
You just get a little wire and go do it. So, okay, let me answer that question, okay? When I'm talking to you at the proposal side of the house, I'm putting something together and I'm talking to you, okay? On the back side of that sale, okay, I'm still talking to you, okay? If you have AT&T come out, they'll have some guy in a suit that just learned, and he learned these pages, okay? And he's got them really good, okay? So he's got his little flip chart, he knows exactly what answers to give, and if he doesn't have that, he'll say, "Oh yeah, let me check on that. I'll get right back to you on that. What was your next question?" Okay. So the point there that I'm trying to drive is not only on the beginning end of sale, but beyond the sale. Okay. I was in a place yesterday, and I've been in there for about 3 or 4 days. Unfortunately, I got an IT kid over there that keeps screwing things up. Yesterday, I found an IP conflict against my router. That doesn't maybe mean anything to you. The problem is, it wasn't the phone equipment that was broken, it's the environment that it was working in, okay? I've been with that guy for 25 years, and they've got a new general manager. He doesn't know me, but he's getting to know me, because I'm kind of in his face saying, "I'm going to find the problem here, and I'm going to put you, up and running and stable." And I don't much care what I have to do it. If I have to lean on somebody a little bit, I'll just lean on them and say, "You're kind of messing with me here, dude." So that's kind of the deal. So does that kind of give you a little focus? I get a little...
I still don't understand, do you use the wiring? How does your company...
Oh, you want to know about wiring?
Not just their wiring. Do you use their fiber optics, or do you have your own? I guess I'm not understanding.
Okay.
What's a good tip for you, Dennis?
Yes, that's
Okay. If there's this ringing sound that sounds like a phone, start there. Okay. You'd be surprised how many people. I put a new phone on the desk, and the customer says, "I have a new phone. What do I do?" And it starts ringing. And I says, "You might want to answer it." Okay. So keeping it simple. Okay. You asked me about wiring. Wiring. You basically, you can talk about fiber optic. We don't use fiber optic on the phones themselves. They will use copper. They will either use, I'm going to use some words, Cat 1, Cat 3, Cat 5, Cat 6. It won't mean anything to you, but it's just a rating on a cable as to whether or not it passes high-speed data or not. If it's a network phone, it will need a network cable. Okay? Depending on what you have will determine whether or not the cable that you have will work for you. Or I can use a digital set which doesn't need network cable and still use the technical side in the box here and beyond, okay, all the way to Kentucky or wherever, okay? But it fits into your wire. I'm just going to use the word wire because if I use the word infrastructure, Scott's going to look at me in the corner of my eye and say, smart ass. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes?
Okay, so then do you use, when you're doing these setups, are you using either the Verizon, Sprint, whatever they have, connection to the building, and then from the building, within that building, it's you, and outside of that building, it's them?
Okay, I almost never use
Do you use their
Sprint.
lines for your service? Does your stuff go over their lines?
Okay, I almost never use Sprint. That's usually a wireless solution. But the answer to your question is, it depends on what I'm trying to accomplish and what the best provider is to do that job. Okay? Sometimes I'm using AT&T because they bring me a 10 meg pipe. You know, and if it's 10 meg pipe, yeah, I'm smoking, man. I didn't need the rest of it. So. Anyway, for some reason I get this impression my time might be up. so with that, thank you very much for your time.